Coming to you from Strings and Things Studio in Ventura, California, I'm Anne.
I'm Katie.
And I'm Karin.
And this is the Strings Unraveled podcast.
All right.
Yay, it's October.
Yay. Yeah, I think this episode
It's
comes
like
out
real
the
October now.
3rd or something. Yeah. Last month we were just pretending.
Yeah.
It feels about the same as it did last month when
Yeah.
we were pretending, but it feels different, you know? It seems different. I don't know. How's everybody doing?
Doing
Today.
pretty good.
Good. And looks like she's counting.
My pattern's off somewhere and I just can't figure out where.
Don't you hate it when that happens?
I'm gonna fake it right now.
Well, I guess we could just jump right in.
Yeah.
Who wants to go first? What are you working on?
Karin, what are you working on?
Well, in my hands is the Fizz.
It's a pretty cool texture.
Yeah, isn't that cool? It's a cowl and either my pardon me, it's a combination of linen stitch and little tiny baubles. They actually are called tiny baubles and abbreviated with a T and a B. And it's an assigned pooling project. That's where you have a fairly plain background. It could be of any particular color with maybe this one has very pale pastel speckles. And then it has one section of really bold color.
Nice.
The idea is that it's different from planned pooling. In planned pooling, there's more math involved. With this one, you're just driving along the road in your pattern, and when a pop of color comes up that's different, that's a concentrated pop of color, it's like we're turning off to go see the side attraction. And then when that color is done, then you're back on the road with your pattern.
Nice.
So
that sounds fun.
it is fun. It is. Yeah.
Cool.
I like the texture, and because it's linen stitch, which is something we taught a while back at Anacapa, but I don't know that we've done it anytime in the last 5 years.
It was like all the rage for a while.
Yeah, I like the way it's a nice mix, and the pattern I'm following by Don Barker, yes, is it's linen stitch but on 8s. So it has a nice drape.
I tend to avoid linen stitch just because it takes so freaking long to knit, but it does make a nice fabric.
It makes this nice fabric, and if it was just linen stitch, I can't tell you how many linen stitch projects I had great hopes for and then abandoned out of boredom. So having this little once in a while, when's the next little pop coming?
Yeah.
It keeps me engaged.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, I will say, I'm like, it says it's a 2-skein project, and I'm like, okay. When I really want to play Yarn Chicken, because then that would mean I'm almost done with 1 skein. But I'm not there yet. But
you're like, I'm ready. Pick me for the team.
I mean, a cowl is like you could stop it whenever you want. So
it is, yeah. But this is clearly too narrow for where I'm at.
How big is the neck?
I actually
depends on the person.
I like a cowl to be able to cover all of the neck and squish a little bit. So, because whatever it is going to fall flat a little bit, and I don't want that little strip between my ear, the top of my ear, and the
actual place you want to keep warm.
Yeah,
what you have now is not going to keep you warm.
No,
it'll be an accessory.
It will, yeah, and I won't wear an accessory, but yeah. So, I highly recommend this. This is nice. It's a fingering weight. She doesn't give you a particular cast on. In this one, I did a what did I call it? It's a alternating cable cast on, which has the look of a stretchy cast on. What's the one that you like so much?
I like the German twisted or whatever that's called.
It's similar to this the one you just did a blog a post on.
The tubular cast.
Okay, so this was like a tubular, but without having to guesstimate the yarn at all. There's no.
You don't have to guess in the tubular cast on.
There's lots of different ways to do it.
There are some ways. There are some ways that require that.
Not in the way I was talking about, like it was my boyfriend.
Anyway, so I've got that.
Nice.
And I have another project that many of the gals are doing called the summer sweater.
Mm-hmm.
But I am experimenting with a different way of doing it on DPNs. I saw this post from someone who was like saying that while he knows it's very unpopular, he doesn't really like circular needles, particularly for lace and color work, because when they sit on the cable, he feels like they can change. And he goes, yeah, I know you can fix it in the block, but wouldn't it be nice if you didn't, if it stayed stable? So he uses 14 and 16-inch DPNs. So I'm trying
I think
it.
I'd rather risk that than... I feel like every time I do color work on DPNs, the join between the needles is always a little iffy. So, I don't know.
Well, let's see what you think. Because these are huge.
This is real old school knitting.
Yeah,
This
and I
is
know
what we did before circular.
Yeah.
this is what we did before circular.
Elizabeth Zimmerman is screaming in her grave.
And I'm not saying I love it, but I don't not love it.
So why are you doing it?
But I don't not love it.
Oh, okay.
Well, I can see the point. Like, I can see the point
I
in
can
this
see-
now that I know the reason.
My
behind
lace
it.
is more stable. The sections that I've done are more stable and seem to be working fine. I'm not having problems keeping going in the round. So, and I know that these are 16-inch, so they will fit any size body, pretty much. The length of each DPN is 16 inches, so I have 5 of these. So that way I'm on one set of needles for the entire thing. I am being, like anytime you do DPNs, I am being mindful of my join, but so far it hasn't been bad.
Yeah, lace is different than like color work when you have the floats. I always feel like that's
like
a little...
I see the point.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I would be more apt to try it in what you're doing with the lace because I can see the sense of the yarn overs probably retain their shape a little better.
Yeah.
When you come back to work into them.
Yeah.
But I mean, this could be solved by where you put your ends. But like, I'm doing the lace cuffs of my Alpine Bloom on double points because it's a sleeve.
Mm-hmm.
And yarn overs ended up being at the edges of the DPNs, which is a danger I'd never thought about.
Yeah.
And I'm working lace, but in a cotton linen blend, which is already, a little on the slippery side. Right. And it seems to be, these are Addies, but they're not like the metal that you expect from Addy.
They look like an anodized silver. Aluminum.
Yeah. These are aluminum.
Yeah.
We're talking real old school.
They're not even Quicksilver.
No. So I'm not crazy about that texture. The tips are okay. But, with so many long tips, it gave me a reason to get even more stoppers.
Yeah, that's very cute. The stoppers are really cute. You should take us on a tour of your stoppers. Like, I'm serious.
Okay. Well,
they'll be in the picture, guys.
Oh. Well, okay, the yarn... I have a really fun, like, it's supposed to be like an aluminum, it's a Christmassy mug. It's got a Christmas tree, and it's got like
a little camp mug.
Like a buffalo plaid on it. I've got my classic camper. There's a llama on here, but I actually have it. I traded one. I couldn't get the brown llamas like one of our students has. I could only get the cream kind, and so we were like friendship bracelets. We traded. So we each have a stopper.
That's adorable.
And then there's Christmas stockings. Where they're more like socks, not stockings. But they're like in a Fair Isle Christmassy. I'm in a very Christmassy mode.
Cute.
So, yeah.
Well, that project looks like torture to me, but I hope you're having fun with it.
Well, I wish part of me now wishes I'd only ordered one to see if I liked it. But what do you when you're trying to do sizes...
Well, because you got to do your swatch first. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you could do your swatch on any needle,
But I mean,
technically, it should be the same.
I know.
They don't sell them here in the UK. There's only one place.
We live in the US.
Well, okay, that tells you something. See, I'm not my brain. It's not my fault. Not
It's
my fault.
okay.
It's been a week.
Peak week for allergies. That's why I sound the way I sound. Earlier
I'm
in the
sure
week,
that's that and other things. So I do have 4 sizes. I didn't go for the super small because the idea of doing super small on something this big, I'm never going to do a sweater on these. But these are for doing
You're
sweaters.
knitting a sweater on those right now.
No, on the super small ones.
Oh, okay.
Like on a size 1.5 or 2.
Those sound like famous last words.
No, I am really confident. But, because they're long, also there's another additional problem of what kind of project bag are you going to put 16-inch DPNs on?
A very long
Right?
one.
It looks like you have
And
a
I
custom
do.
bag.
I have a bag that I made for other purposes that is working just fine. It's like a super long tote bag where it's circular, but it's really it's like you could put a yoga mat in it.
Uh-huh.
So, since I don't really take a yoga mat anywhere, I'm happy to use them for my projects. Anywho, that's what is currently on my needles.
Nice. Anne, you want to go next?
No.
Okay.
You can go next.
Okay. I am. James and I are house sitting, so my projects are limited to what I have brought with me and what is in my office, which is really not that limited because there's a million things in there. But I only have
TARDIS in there.
Yeah, exactly. I only have 2 things that I am working on. 2 sweaters. The critical knit one that I talked about last month. In this bag that I'm digging out. So I have separated for my sleeves. I finished the color work. I put the body on hold.
Ooh.
And I'm knitting the sleeves first before I go back and I finish the body. So.
Oh, that new method you were talking about. No?
New method. Oh, yeah. The ladder back jacquard.
I'll tell you the tension on that is perfect.
Yeah, I mean, it needs a good blocking, but...
I heard that if you use really long...
my Fair Isle would be absolutely perfect. I wouldn't have any tension.
I bet I have that size.
I think I'd rather
That
poke my
D20
eyes
looks
out.
good.
Thank you.
You probably
I'm confident
could.
in my blocking skills.
You probably could poke your eyes out. So far, Karen's doing good.
Oh,
She's
you
got good
definitely
safety.
could.
Good safety going.
You know what? I think when I go to my car, I'm going to make sure I have the spare in hand.
Yeah, those are weapons.
They are. 16 inches, I don't know. Steel, maybe. Aluminum, maybe not so much.
It's still metal. It's still pointy.
Those who liked Psycho. Not Psycho.
Yeah, Psycho.
Yeah, Psycho.
You
Okay.
made the psycho noise.
So I'm just cruising along on the boring part, and I'm trying to decide what kind of color work I'm going to add in the body or the yoke, or what I want to do with the rest of it. I have a sort of a deadline in mind, which is like mid-October, so this is the one that I'm keeping at the house where we're staying, so this is my only knitting project up there. So if I want to knit, that's what I have to work on.
What constitutes that deadline?
We're going on a trip, and it will be chilly-ish, so I want to wear it.
Ooh.
And
I go somewhere cold.
we're going to Big Bear, and it's going to be like a high of 60 maybe.
Lovely.
Which is like, that's cold enough for a sweater,
love it.
maybe.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then I let myself cast on for another project because I wanted one that wasn't that one.
Because you're allowed to do whatever you want.
Yeah. This is yarn from our... Well, no, I didn't get it on our trip to Orkut, but I bought more of this yarn when we were up there. But this is... I think it's Juniper Moon. Patagonia is the name of the yarn.
Yeah, that yarn is very attractive.
Yeah, it's like an organic American wool DK weight, and then it's going with this skein of hold on, I have the label because I can't remember the name of it. Feederbrook Farm Entropy DK is the name of the yarn. Feederbrook is the company. It's a BFL like hand spun, hand dye sort of what is it? Spin cycle ish kind of dupe.
I think that has a name. I think
Yeah.
it's called like Helix.
I always thought it was like, yeah. You're right. I was gonna say Barber Pole, but that's 2 different colors. Yeah, it's like a color shifty, 2-ply.
Beautiful thing.
Yeah, so those 2 are going together into this sweater that I knew I wanted to make some kind of color work yoke sweater, and I just had to pick a color work yoke sweater pattern. And the one I picked is called Sheep Camp.
I'm making that.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, I'm making it in like a weird combination of things from 2-year-old.
Oh nice.
Stash
Have you talked about it?
No,
And I just forgot.
not at all.
Okay, good.
No, it's a secret.
Okay, it's a secret. Sorry.
Not anymore.
Well, you spilled the beans.
It's in my secret queue of like it's like keeps inching up because it looks like such a fun sweater.
Yeah, I'm very much enjoying it. It is a really
That's gonna be
simple
good,
colorwork yoke. So my background color is this kind of like winey, what is it called?
WIN.
Yeah, winey.
EY.
Mulberry is the name of the background color, and then my shifting is sort of like, it almost reminds me of like a Pia dress, like that sort of color
Yeah.
palette, like purples and greens and like fall colors for the color work. So those are the 2 projects that I am working on, 2 sweaters. Yeah. What are you working on, Anne?
I am still working on my Alpine Bloom. I really thought I would be way done with it, but I like confidently. Have you ever like done math in your head on how you're gonna split up your DPNs and then really F that up?
Sure.
It wasn't like a major F up, but I was like,
and how so?
well, so I'm supposed to cast on 104 stitches for my sleeve size.
Okay.
And I was like, well, how am I going to divide this up? It's 8 stitch repeats. I'll put 32 stitches on each needle. That works. And I like in my head just kept doing the math to make that work.
Yeah.
That's 96 stitches.
I was going to say that
Not
math is
104.
not mathing.
It did not math out. You are correct. So I will have made 3 lace cuffs, and that's a little disheartening. It's easy to dishearten me.
I had to start this sweater over. It's like you do like a rolled edge, and then you do short row shaping just a little bit, and then you do an increase round before you get to the color work.
Mm-hmm.
And I cast on 120 stitches. I did all the short rows. I did the rolled neckline. I went to do the increases, and I was like, how am I going to get from 120 to 128 if I'm increasing this often? I was like, I'm going to have way more than the number of stitches than I need. And then I went back and looked. I was only supposed to cast on 112 for my size.
See,
and I was like, well, I could fudge it, or I could just start over.
yeah,
so I just started over.
Do the right thing for future Katie.
Yeah.
You know, which is what I told myself to do after I really considered, like, well, I could easily make up 8 stitches over this 96 stitches, or I could decrease that one sleeve side.
That's exactly what kind of math I was doing.
But why are you doing that?
Yeah.
It's like a 20 row repeat to get the sleeve cuff done. Just do it.
Yeah.
But then you got to get your mojo working again.
Yeah. I understand how that goes.
So I've been working on that. I also have allowed myself, like, the library apps are really distracting. To have, I mean, so, like, you'd think you have all of human knowledge with Google, and that creates rabbit hole problems, right?
Yeah.
There's some, like, high-quality knitting books you can get. So
I haven't even gone down that direction.
I borrowed, in person at the Camarillo Library, I borrowed Knit Fold Repeat, which is one of Nora Gowen's more recent books. Maybe her most recent hardcover book. And it's gorgeous. I don't love everything in it, but, you know, she's such an inventive...
Her books are good to flip through. There's always interesting things.
She's great. She does interesting things with geometry, and in this book it's about it holds some of the things I find fascinating in like high concept pattern draping, and then takes it to knitting. So there's a lot of cool things in there. So I'm picking like the most mundane thing to make. It's called Patch. And it's kind of a batwing shape sweater where it's constructed modularly. You make garter stitch patches and kind of like this interesting dotted seed stitch sort of pattern that's kind of seed stitch in a field of stockinette. And then you do mitered squares. And I am, of course, using our favorite yarn.
Yep.
I was going to tell someone that they should use my favorite yarn as they were getting ready to tell me that they're done buying yarn from Michael's and Joann's. Like, but wait, this one's actually
this is a good
one.
You see that label? Because that was at Michael's.
This is Patents.
Oh,
that's a different one.
I like, when I talk about our favorite yarn, I never have the label, but today I do.
I have one too.
Lex Merino from Loops and Threads from Michael's.
Yarn Lane. Yarn. Lux Marinos. Marinos de Lux. Oh, cool.
It's lovely.
Yeah, it's such a good yarn. It's even nicer this, like, time
than
around.
last time,
Mhm.
because it feels like it's more consistent. Like the
Yes.
spin's more consistent.
My
it feels
stitches are a little
smoother.
neater. Yep.
Yeah, it feels just a little more buttery.
Yep.
So this is Patch.
Oh, that's fun.
Oh, that looks cool.
Yeah, it's cute. It
A
feels
little bit of a dolman. I like it.
Yeah, it feels a little bit like something Elizabeth Zimmerman would have concocted.
Yeah.
And it's, square upon square. Some you're supposed to sew together. Like, they don't all exactly build off of each other.
Right.
But I think I'll kind of use a sew as you go method to
Nice.
do those. So that's very distracting from the things I'm supposed to do.
What kind of color palette are you doing?
I am doing this blushy pink.
Uh-huh.
I am doing there's like a nice pumpkin color.
Yep.
There's a charcoal gray that is got tweed in it.
Mm-hmm.
There's a wine color, and there is a like one of the striping ones that's different shades of gray, which is
fun.
not what I went in there to buy. They have this like multi blue that stripes which is where I really thought I was going to build my color palette off of, because it's right up my alley. But then when I looked at it, I'm like, I have so many things kind of like this.
Yeah.
And I keep trying to buy that yarn, and then every time I put it in the cart, I have so many things that are in that like bluish situation.
I mean, you should probably buy a sweater's worth just to have it on hand.
You're probably right. And I really love your support and encouragement.
Oh, yes.
Thank you for that.
Because if you were one ball short and you couldn't get it, you would really regret it.
It's true. If I didn't have a garage full of the last time, maybe last year.
Okay, but you do use a stash.
I do.
Yeah.
I do.
And you just supplement
Yeah.
stash.
What I really want, which I think I may just buy from their website, is I really want to make the field sweater, which is that very pretty
beautiful
one that Prolific Knitter tested recently. I don't remember the actual designer's name, but it's like just really pretty color or texture.
Yeah.
And you can carry mohair with it. So I have some dark purple mohair, and I want their solid purple.
Yeah.
And I'm going to carry the dark purple mohair with it.
That sounds nice.
I think it will be very pretty. And I can't stop thinking about that. Forget all the other sweaters that cry out to be made from that stash we were just talking about. And that's all. I mean, I have also been working on samples, so I'm up to my November hat for the knitted hat classes.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's it.
Nice.
Yeah.
I
mean, all those other things I've talked about are just languishing. But we don't talk about them.
No, you don't have to. If we had to check up on every project we ever talked about,
I know.
our podcast would be 8 hours long.
Yes. And I was thinking, I was thinking about this today because I'm like, I think I have one hat to share that I finished. But then I really looked and I'm like, no, there's a little bit more.
Oh, good.
But this is almost like a little bit of a confessional.
Okay.
Like am I showing up every time we record to confess what I've said?
Yeah, it does feel like that sometimes. You are in a safe space with us. Like,
absolutely,
I can't tell you that our listeners aren't going to judge you, but we are not going to judge you.
Thank you. And you know what? You don't have to take ownership for the ears out there.
That's true. I'm going to tell you right now, don't judge us.
Yeah, and I don't think you are.
And we won't
listeners.
judge you.
Yeah, or I won't share what I'm thinking. Which that's a big step, right?
True. Yeah, I guess those are separate things.
Yeah, you can think whatever you want about me. I can't control that, but keep it to yourself. So those are the things I've been working on. Hey, Karin, what have you finished?
Well, just today.
I say there's something missing from your what I've been working on pile.
That's good because it's like due now. So, I have a new pattern coming out in a couple weeks. We're gonna do. Hopefully, I was wanting to do a tester call a couple weeks ago, but life gets in the way.
Dang it!
Stupid life. But so it's called Twisted Kate, and it's a Tunisian crochet, and it's like elbow to elbow. It's basically 2 rectangles, but it has a really interesting way of joining them at the shoulders, and then it gives you the option of doing mattress seam for part of the side seam, or doing a tack stitch to attach decorative buttons. And I have one of each because I had a sample crocheter work with me, and she did beautiful work. And then I realized that my calculations for how much armhole you needed at your elbow are still a little small, and that the side seam left way too much side flap opening. So I did have to undo her side seam stitches, and is a testament to how well she did, because it was hard to find the ends, which I appreciate. Good that. You know what? Yeah. I'm like, it's a testament to how great you did that I had to struggle to find your ends.
Every once in a while, I have to take out something, like I'm fixing something for somebody, and I'm trying to like figure out where the end is. And some people weave in their ends for seemingly miles and miles, and I'm like, it's like, what kind of rabbit hole are we going through to try and find where this yarn ends?
So I'm gonna show them to you. I'm gonna show you first it's in 13 sizes, but it's got like 40 inches of ease. It's huge because it's going from elbow to elbow. There's no real. It's just like it wears though like a blocky sweater. It doesn't. So
it doesn't eat you up.
So I'm going to stand up for a minute. Hopefully y'all can hear me because I'll try to lean down. But I'm just going to hold it up to me.
No, put it on.
Oh, okay. Take this off. So there's one that's cropped and one that's hip length. But even the cropped one looks good because this is not the kind of sweater you are ever going to not wear something underneath because it's all lacy.
Yeah, that would be scandalous. Cute.
That is beautiful.
Isn't it pretty?
Did you block it or did she?
She blocked it.
Wow.
I loved it.
Yeah, she did a great job.
Ends because this one has to be blocked before it's seamed. Because there's certain places where you have to mark it, and you got to know the size so much more when it's blocked.
Nice.
So this is the hip length.
Gorgeous.
And Kaity will test.
Oh yeah, it looks way better.
Way better.
Okay. She showed me her armhole and the slit, but
was like only like 4 inches.
That's
and then the side seam was 4 inches, and you had like 10 inches of flap.
So I actually have a sweatshirt like that. I feel real sexy when I'm wearing it.
And that's fine if it's a little closer to the body. But this one, I don't know. It feels wonderful. This one colorway is called Mulch, and it's part of and I can see. She said that she didn't see that the skeins were very different, but I can see a very subtle stripiness, very very subtle.
Yeah,
it looks intentional.
I think it's less noticeable than
because I had her blend them.
Yeah, it looks intentional.
Otherwise, it would have been a block. If you didn't trade off every other one,
it looks great.
But that's just
so that will be a very prominent note in your pattern, right?
It is.
After you suffered so much,
these blends, it's good practice anytime you have something from Indie Dyer because they're small batch
all hand paints. Yeah,
all hand paints come with. It's just I don't know how you can get them perfectly if you're not a machine. So that was this one's a tonal one. And I don't know, you can see the little bits of silver sparkle. I think it's really pretty.
That would just be... Do you get to keep that?
Oh, yeah, I bought this.
Good, because that's going to be like...
Because I paid for the yarn for the sample, and she sent me yarn, the dyer, but she doesn't want all the samples back. We get to keep samples.
Because, you put that on under the right, just simple dress, and it's going to sing.
Yeah.
Well, and it's intended to, like the sparkle is very, very subtle, and it's intended to, you can wear it over a t-shirt, or you could wear it over a sundress.
Dress it up, dress it down.
Hold on, I'm going to have you, one's hands are free. Kaity. Will you open this up? I'm going to go grab, of course, the clothes that I'm going to photograph. I couldn't find.
We're getting a full fashion show. I love it.
I need to dye them, but the jumper is so cute.
Oh my god, that's adorable.
You can wear it with a t-shirt, but it's pants. Cute. It's a jumper, and it's a tank on top, and it has one pocket, and this is going to go under... I haven't figured out which one, but I'm going to dye them semi-solid colors because the Summer Cactus, which is the variegated one, has a lot of color going on, and I don't want whatever is with it to be fighting it in the photographs. So this one is cropped. But look at those buttons.
Nice.
Those are perfect.
Very pretty.
So this one's cropped, and it's still, I mean, it hits right about your waist. So and this
That's
is
a flattering length.
what's interesting is this is the size 8, but I think our gauges are different because that one felt the size 5 feels smaller. I mean, feels bigger than
I
I
was going
think.
to say, shouldn't it?
No, the size 5 feels bigger, and maybe just because it's deeper in.
Yeah, there's more of it.
But it's hitting me at the elbow. I think her gauge was just a smidge bigger. But
She might have blocked it hard, too.
she didn't at first.
Oh.
And it was smaller, and I said, "Oh, can you be this is the size I got," but I blocked it aggressively. Always keeping it in my head.
Block the snot out of it.
Well, and this one kind of needs it to really open it up. But
Oh, yeah.
it's kind of boat neck, but not a really wide boat neck. So it feels like it's just going to stay on.
Yeah.
So
It's not slipping off your shoulders.
not at all.
The way the fabric works up makes a really pretty decorative edge all on its own.
Yeah, it makes its own little scallop, and when you block the neck, you I put a note in the pattern to only pin block at the peak to intentionally keep that scallopy shape at the neck, but then to go ahead and use blocking combs or keep it flat for the side seam, for the shoulder seams. So it's really comfortable and it's very soft. So
nice.
The yarn dyer is Aquarius Makes. Fatima does a really beautiful job, and I could see when she introduced, we had a chat going on with the 7 of us all together with her, and I could see she showed us her colors, and no one was picking their colors yet. I'm like, I better pick it, and as soon as I picked it, everyone else is like, mulch, mulch, mulch. We all want mulch, and I'm like, I'm intentionally picking these two because I think they'll photograph well. They play well together.
Yeah, they're beautiful.
And I totally overestimated how much yarn I need, so I only needed little more than half of what I estimated.
Oh, that's refreshing with crochet. I mean, I don't know if Tunisian follows the
4
same
skeins. 4 skeins for the size 8.
Nice.
For the size 8 cropped, and only 5 to have it a little bit longer.
Cool.
But anyway,
That's
so
pretty reasonable.
I feel like that makes it into the realm of a knitted sweater.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Easily.
And then I needed something quick because I've had more than a week of migraines and my brain is hurting. So I need a quick project, and the same people that sell the stitch toppers, Fox and Pine Stitches, had a really cute PDF pattern, and Etsy had reminded me, you haven't downloaded that in 7 days. And I go to download it, but there's no actual link to download.
I saw that you were having that conversation.
I don't know why. And then I'm like, wait a minute, why did I send it from the studio email?
Well,
I don't know why.
Sometimes I could be sending from the studio email all day long at work because my phone just defaults to it sometimes. Try real not.
So she was really nice, and she sent it to me this morning, and I got yarn, and I finished it.
Nice.
It is the snowman hat.
That's cute.
Look at this.
Adorable.
It's a snowman, and it has duplicate stitch, and a duplicate stitch for part of it, and another type of stitch where it's on top, but it's just crosses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For the mouth and for the eyes. And then a pom-pom, which
Cute.
over the years I've lost my pom-pom makers. So I bought another set.
Speak up next time because I got a jagillion.
Yeah.
It's a specific number.
Jagillion.
They make that many.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that's why I was like, I didn't know does your favorite yarn come in a super chunky?
Oh, no.
No, it's
Aw.
just that.
Yeah.
It's just the weight that it is, and
That's why it's so delightful because it's a sport weight, high quality yarn. So it meets all the patterns.
Yeah.
it's really hard to find a good sport weight too, because there's fingering and there's DK.
Yeah.
And sometimes the ranges get close, which really they should just call it sport. But it's one of the things I like about what were we talking about? Oh, dyed in the wool is spin cycle. Is there's dyed in the wool is a sport weight, which is a nice in between.
Yeah,
But is it? It's 200 yards to 50 grams.
Yeah, I think it's one of those that could go in a lot of directions.
It's fluffy.
Yeah.
Like it blooms a lot.
And I think that blooming is what puts it into the sport versus fingering category.
Well, some patterns use it as a fingering weight, and some patterns use it at a DK weight. So it could be convinced either way, I think.
Have you tried the Spin Cycle's bigger version?
I've never knit with any spin cycle yarn.
Oh. It's pretty nice.
Yeah, it's expensive.
It is.
Yeah.
No, I'm like, oh yeah, I've made so many sweaters for it. No, I've made 2 hats.
Yeah.
I do have enough to go into a sweater as an accent color.
Uh-huh.
And that keeps it's right in the doorway of my
I
studio.
had
And it
bought
keeps trying to distract me.
a sweater's worth at one point with a couple different shades that I was going to just blend together. And over time, I'm like, this is just sitting in the stash. I'm not really going to do that. And so I actually sold off a few of my skeins
Nice.
but I could only do that. It always seems to happen right after I've organized my stash. If I organize my stash, then I'm like, yeah, you need yarn? Huh. What do you think about these? You can buy them off me if you like.
Mm-hmm.
But I can only do it if I can just access it right away. So anyway,
Cute.
That's adorbs.
where am I?
You look great in your snowman
Yeah,
hat
it's
and
a
your
perfect
lace.
blend of elegance and playfulness.
So
It's
I
like
know, I
Frozen.
just-
Do you want to build a snowman?
I love that song. Don't get me started.
Better you than
But
me.
okay, but these buttons,
They're made for it.
Oh, they're these iridescent, but they have a patina on them, and they're like a check glass kind of bead all in one. They're just so pretty. So that's my option of part of me when I'm sewing the buttons on. I'm like, was this really faster than a side seam? No. Actually, it is not.
It just adds a little something.
It just a little something. So this makes it for my fancy dress one, maybe we'll see.
Well, they're both beautiful.
Anyway, thank you.
Nice.
We're excited to see those. I mean, I'm excited to see those finished.
And if there's
I
any
imagine
Tunisian
Katie is
crocheters
too.
that listen to us, of course, by the time this comes out, the tester call will be done. But look for it on our website.
Yeah, you could
Twisted
just
Kate.
buy the pattern.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And make it.
It's
That's the
just
whole
called
point.
that way because it's a variation of a Catherine wheel, but on Tunisian it has a little more of a twist to it. So
Cool.
beautiful. That's it.
That's pretty
Nice.
great.
Yeah.
It's so exciting when a big project gets finished.
Yeah, I was happy not to. I would have gotten done like 2 weeks earlier, but I had to rip a lot of it, like 8
You
inches
had
back.
To start, yeah, you had to
Basically,
start,
I start
fresh.
over again.
It was
Yeah.
awful.
It was worth it though
It was
because
sad.
it
I'm
really.
sorry.
But you know what? It's worth it. From now on, I'm a believer in blending.
Well, yeah. It's one of those things that's like, I don't think about it. I'm like, yeah, I'll blend those yarns. And then I sit down to like make the thing and I'm like, oh, I gotta think about this. Like, I gotta plan. When I was working on my critical knit sweater, the background color is like a dark gray. And when I bought the yarn, I bought it from Michael's and I did like a store pickup, so I didn't pull the skeins. And then I thought later, I was like, oh, I should have looked at dye lots. And I didn't think about it. I grabbed the first ball and I cast on and I started the yoke. And then I looked and one of the balls of yarn is a different dye lot. But I didn't have the ball band from the first one I used, so I was like, which one of these dye lots is it? So I picked one that I thought it looked like, and I keep staring at it and I'm like, I think I can see a difference, but I don't.
Show me.
I don't think I can. Do you notice anything in my dark gray background color?
Not at all.
Okay, good. It would be like right here-ish that it changes.
Absolutely not.
Okay, good. Because I do have one that is different. So I'm gonna knit the sleeves with the main color, I guess, and then save the one that's different to blend into the bottom of the body if
Perfect.
I need to.
Yeah.
Which is another reason I'm doing the sleeves first, so I can see like exactly when I need to swap out colorways. But like, I don't think about those things when I start the project.
No,
I
just
should.
wanna start.
And that's okay, as long as you think later on, if you have strategic places where there's a natural break in the pattern,
Yeah.
That is an okay. That's a place where it's the least noticeable. It's okay that if you don't, as long as you have a way to work it in.
Yeah, it would have been very jarring if it didn't match, because it's like right here at the colorwork yoke where your eyeballs are going to be looking. And it's like, oh shoot, like I realized it after I had finished all this color work, and I'm like, well, I'm not going to go back and blend it. I'm not going to go back and fix it. I'm just going to have a line here and just pretend like it's okay. But I was lucky that it worked.
Well, your point of not having the ball band, I seem to never be able to keep the ball band with this yarn.
Yeah.
And that's I think my one complaint about this yarn. Completely unstable balls.
Yes.
Like so unstable.
I have ended up rewinding them near the end of the ball of yarn because they just fall apart.
Yeah.
I should do that before I start the ball of yarn, but I don't
want
want to do that.
That goes back to the planning.
Exactly. I don't do that.
That delays you when you just want to get going.
Yep.
I am on the modular sweater patch. I am actually center pulling so that I can try to keep the ball band on it.
That's what I'm doing with mine. It doesn't work great near the end.
Right. Well, because that's what happens from center pulling.
Yeah. But with like a cake, it usually like stays together well enough.
Yeah.
This was like a total mess.
Oh, gosh.
So I had to like pull it all out, find the end, wind it on my ball winder, which is fine. But
if you were outside pulling, it wouldn't be better.
No.
Whole hanks of this fall off.
And I don't like outside, like pulling from the outside of any ball of yarn. So yeah,
I'm an outside puller because I don't like the disaster at the end.
Yes, I'd rather risk that than have my ball of yarn flopping all over the place when I'm trying to knit.
Right on. What have you finished, Katie?
I have been still focusing on my Christmas gift knit list, or not knit, but gift list.
Yeah.
Because I was talking to, I think I talked about this last time, but I asked James, I was like, how stupid is it for me to try and make all my Christmas gifts this year? I'm probably not going to make all of them, but I have a significant number of them done.
That's impressive. It's October.
I know.
Wow.
I'm doing all the like, not the little things, but like, I have my gift list is like, here's all the people that need presents, and then there's a couple big ones. It's like something for James is a bigger thing than anybody else is getting, and then my family does like a secret Santa, so you don't have to buy presents for everybody, and that usually ends up being like a bigger thing. Like I knit my aunt a sweater last year for that, which I don't think I'm going to do that this year. But so I have finished lots of zipper boxy bags. I'm making the Holland pouch, which I've talked about before. I really, really like that pattern. I have finished 8 of them this month.
Wow.
So here's 2 of them.
They're so cute.
That I have finished lately.
Oh, I love the colors.
This fabric is adorable.
So they're like quilted with foam interfacing. I used metallic like faux metal zippers. And it's been really fun to like think of the person and be like, their favorite color is blue or whatever, and then put the pairs together. So this one was Stash. This one is, I bought the fabric because it reminded me of the person. So I have
It's adorable.
8 of them done.
Stash looks like it's perfect.
Yeah, I was just lucky that I had those 2 things. There's 6 more of them in my office. This is the medium size. Most of the ones that I've made are the larger size because you need fat quarters for them, so it's like you might as well make as much as you can. This one from Stash, I was limited by this piece of fabric I had, so that's why I made this one a medium, but most of them are the large size. And they're really fun because I like to look at the fabric and figure out how I'm going to quilt it. They're all straight line quilted, but some of them are like diagonal, some of them are...
Show me the inside again.
They are...
Binding.
Yeah, they've got binding.
The quilting looks so cute inside.
Yeah, most of them. This one doesn't have one. I put my label on the inside. That one didn't have one, but this one also doesn't have one. Oh,
Oops,
I put my label on the inside of most of them, I guess, except for this one.
That's
Those
kind of nice.
Very cute.
Yeah, I thought that was a good
Now, why do you
gift.
put the label on the inside? Just so they can see it, but it's not necessarily...
I'm not making them to sell, so it's just like I have a bunch of these labels, and I thought it would be cute to put my little name in there.
I like that idea.
So
Every time they open it,
it's Katie.
Yeah.
Yeah. Katie thought of me.
So there's a bunch of those that I finished. This has been my like house sitting project because it's like when you're bringing like sewing along with you, I need all the accoutrement for like various projects. Like if I were quilting, I'd need different supplies, So I just brought the supplies to make pouches because I knew I'd have to make a bunch of them. And I think I still have at least one more to make on my gift list for the number of people that I want to give them to.
What did James say? You said you asked James if you were crazy.
Oh, he was like, yeah.
Okay.
Well, he was like, well, what do you think? And he knows that it was a bad idea. But I was like, I'm just going to get started and see how many I can make.
See, I think that you're usually the voice of reason, at least among the three of us.
Okay, good, because I am not the voice of reason in my house.
So I'm just curious, like, where James falls in
Oh,
that,
no, he's like
spectrum.
Kaity, no. I have this, like, theory, just because I've been on the internet and, like, Instagram and TikTok. TikTok seems to know a lot about me that I don't know about myself, right? And I have, like, completely convinced myself that I have ADHD.
Oh, yeah.
Just from, like, the internet.
Oh, yeah.
Like, the algorithm has taught me this.
I mean, I'm not going to tell you what you have.
And James
But I also have ADHD.
Yeah. James sent me
That's
this
coming straight from Instagram.
James sent me this reel that was like this guy talking about his wife who's like, he's like, her ADHD brain, she's like, work on this project, and then squirrel, you're jumping over here to do this thing, and then, oh, look at that shiny thing. And he said at the end, it was like, it looks like Etsy took a shit all over our living room. And I was like, that's exactly what it looks like.
Okay, so I was going to ask you who that couple was, because there's a couple I really like where he's normal, not
Normal.
neurodivergent.
Neurotypical.
Okay, there you go. And she's got like half blue hair and half black hair.
This was like a stand-up comedian. I don't know who it was, but if I can find the video, I'll put it on our like our Instagram or something.
Yeah. He I don't think he would say that punchline.
No.
But I like it.
Yeah, it was like, I feel seen.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe James felt seen, I guess. So yeah, he's reasonable to be like, can you make all those things? And I'm like, yeah, I can make all those things. We'll see. I made 2 of those, the big dice energy. That's like
Oh,
this
those
name of the
turned out
pattern.
great.
Oh,
Yeah.
look.
I'm really happy
Did you
with
block
these.
them already? Because
No.
they're really, they're so smooth.
Very
you.
beautifully made.
Thank you.
What a cool pattern.
Yeah, this is a really fun project.
The way that the decreases were
Right?
out is gorgeous.
I know. I'm very happy. This was really fun to make.
I love when the design is in the decreases shows
Yeah.
intention.
I was very happy with how they turned out. You get this like cool star at the top. I had a lot of fun making these. So there's one, they're both like a heathered gray background. One of them is red, one of them's blue, for 2 different friends of mine. And they kind of turned out a little bit big, but they're both big dudes with, I'm assuming, big heads. So I'm going to block them lightly. I haven't woven in the ends yet. But those 2 are done.
Those are stunning.
And then, are you ready for something cute?
Yeah.
This is
I
my
put
dragon
knitting
dice
down.
bag.
I have not been able to stop thinking about this
Isn't
since
he
you showed it to
cute?
me.
He's so cute. You can
I
hold him.
wanna say hi, he's so cute.
It's a little dragon, a little amigurumi crochet dragon. He's holding a little
He's
a little bag, a
beautiful.
little drawstring bag. The pattern is very lacking, but it's one of those where it's like, here's the pattern.
Wings.
I know, I thought the
And
wings
his
were so cool.
spine.
The pattern was like, here's the version you can buy,
excellent.
or you can get the free version from my website.
No.
And so I got the free version from the website because I was like, I can figure it out. But I'm like, there's a lot left to be desired of this pattern. So I'm hoping if you pay for it that
There's
you
a
get
little
more.
bit more.
Because it's just like, here's all the pieces, and then it's like, what sort of, and there's no good pictures of it. I'm like, what do I do? So I had to use my best judgment for a lot of it. But
I was telling Kevin and Marabella about this.
Yeah.
And Marabella's like, that sounds like something everyone in the family would love to receive as a gift.
they're really fun.
But I have other plans.
How long did it take?
I wasn't working on it consistently, but
Oh.
it didn't take that long. I mean, it's crochet is not like,
That's true.
a huge commitment. All of the
That's true.
pieces are quick to make, but then it's like all the assembly and
Yeah.
and all the things that go with it. So, I am sad that I don't get to keep him, but maybe I'll make one for myself because he is really, really cute.
He's really cute.
He's red. He's a red dragon with sort of like a dark red.
I want to do iridescent pastels.
Yes.
You should do that.
In D&D, there's
Or I want Katie to do that and then give it to me.
okay.
And I'll learn to play just so I have a reason to have a dice bag.
So, okay, Katie,
I mean, you
you
can put anything in it.
Right.
It's a dragon. He holds a treasure trove, so you could put your gold coins in
yarn
it.
there.
You can put your yarn in it. You can put your
Yeah.
stitch markers in it. It doesn't have to be dice. He's just holding a little bag. Or you can make him and not make him hold a bag. He could just be a dragon.
No, I think the bag
No, the
part's
bag.
really
right?
The bag.
He's
important.
very cute.
Plus,
He's my
it
little
kind
friend.
of balances him so he doesn't fall over.
Yeah. In Dungeons and Dragons, there's colored dragons. There's like red, blue, green, and they all like green is like acid damage, blue is like a water dragon, red is fire, and then there's like the I can't remember what they call them, like the metallic dragons. So there's gold and there's silver, and I don't know what they all do, but they are there's all kinds of lore.
So rainbow pastel iridescent probably is in that metal.
Probably, I would guess. Yeah, I guess you could get away with that.
So Katie, you are learning.
Yes.
I thought it would be fun at my house to like have a Sunday night D&D with my kids and have Alexander, who does DM every once in a while, like be our DM.
Yeah.
But it only happened once.
Yeah.
Like, what do you think the learning curve is?
It's pretty...
Because I was finding it pretty steep.
It is steep. I have been exposed to it a lot before I ever played, so I had a general idea of how things worked without ever having like sat down at the table to play.
But like
So-
all the classes of the characters and stuff.
You get, I mean, for your first character, there's different, they call them races, but they are renaming them into something else. So there's different types of like humanoids you could be. You could be like a human, you could be a dragon person, you can be a gnome, you could be a dwarf. There's like, you pick that, and then you pick your character
Like aspect.
class is the name of it. So you could be a wizard, you could be a rogue, you could be there's all a fighter, a bard.
Yeah.
So you pick the two things and you put them together. And your first character is not going to be like you'll learn like, oh, I want to be that thing, but you don't really know until you've played a little bit.
Yeah.
So my character that I'm playing now is a half elf druid, which being a druid is very fun.
Yes.
Because you can turn into, like, you use magic, you could turn into various animals, and then you act as the animal to be like me as a half elf. I don't have that much like strength or ability in a fight, but I can transform into like a bear and use the bear's instincts or whatever to fight. But I have learned in playing that I'm like, this is fun, but I want to be that thing next. Like, that thing looks fun. I want to try and do that. So I don't think that the learning curve is like super, super steep, especially if Alexander has DM'd before. Like, the learning of you buy yourself the player's handbook, you flip through it, and you pick something.
Yeah, okay.
And then all you have to do is read the chapter for your type of class, right?
He gave me an app too that was helpful in like building it.
Uh-huh.
But he like created this quest and we didn't go where he wanted us to
Oh,
go.
okay. Yeah. That's a problem.
Sort of why like it didn't happen.
Yeah,
more.
yeah.
He's like, I'm taking my toys and going home, guys.
Well, that's not a very good DM.
Well, he tried to be patient with us, but that's like not his, best.
Dungeon master.
Yeah, best.
Or GM, you could say game master, but yeah, James is our DM, so he runs the game, and then we play with his cousin and his cousin's partner and our friend, who all of these various dice themed things are for Christmas. I'm assuming none of them listen to the podcast. I would be surprised if they did.
That'll teach you to be a supportive friend.
Yeah,
Because it
right.
gets spoiled.
That's what you get. Those
Literally.
This is what you're getting. Maybe I'll like block them on Instagram if they follow the studio account because I'll post pictures. I don't think that they probably do. What have you finished, Anne?
I have had a Hatapalooza.
Hatapalooza.
So
I thought you said I have had a palooza.
I did run the words together. I have had a Hatapalooza. So this quarter, third of the year, continuing on with all the Year of Hats from Kelborn Woolens, and so September came and went.
I like that
it's
one.
a nice hat. I liked it. It was kind of fun to make. It's this very like fun pattern where you slip and pass over, and then you make one in the middle of those two stitches, and it was a fun one to
I
make.
feel like I've done a sock with that stitch pattern before.
I could see this on a sock.
Like,
It's
I feel
pretty.
like it's one of the, Hermione's everyday sock or something uses that
could be
sort of pattern.
It does look like that.
Something like
I
that.
see that. And then October's hat, I haven't made a reel in I don't know how long.
I saw that. It was great.
Yeah. And so I made a reel of unveiling the tubular cast on.
Nice.
Isn't it pretty?
I love that. Can I see it?
I've never done it turning into a 2x2 ribbing. And it's pretty.
That's nice when you can. That's a nice way to do that because, like the method that I was using is 1-1 only. You can't do it. It doesn't work for 2-2.
I feel like I have, but I would have no idea how to do it without looking it up at this point.
The 1x1, it was the same setup as when I've done 1x1, but it you rearrange it when you're done with the setup rounds.
You like move the stitches around or whatever.
And this hat really needs to be blocked because right now it's very much like a skull cap.
Like a watch cap, yeah. You look like a sailor.
Yeah. Which is fine. I mean, it covers the tops of my ears, which is all I need for California.
That's true.
I'm pretty happy with how that one turned out.
That's a pretty color, too.
Then my favorite hat of all the hats I'm teaching.
That's a great
I really
one.
hope people sign up for it. Is Hecla.
Everybody make a Hecla.
It's a pattern
so
that
pretty.
comes with. Thank you. With it comes with a mitten, but we won't be doing that in class. But you'll get a little added value. Mosaic. Okay, so it uses mosaic crochet, which is very fun.
It is fun.
So it's a way of doing, kind of a color work pattern in crochet. And I am not a fan of crocheted ribbing.
Mm-hmm.
But when you're actually doing a crocheted hat, you have to follow the rules.
If you're teaching it, yeah.
But if you're teaching it.
If you're doing it yourself, do whatever the heck you want.
I've been known to knit the ribbing,
yeah,
bind it off, and then make my crochet hat off of it. But I love this so much that I was happy to make this ribbing. And I've got 2 more started. This was the Knitting for Olive yarn.
Mm-hmm.
And so it only used a little bit of the 4 colors that I made in this first one. And I love it.
The sample is 2 colors, right? Or
the
is it
sample
4?
is 2 or many.
Okay. I couldn't remember.
I love
the
that it
picture.
gives you the option.
Yeah.
But I love that. That's a 4
great hat.
color, right?
Yes. This I did 4 colors. So you could do
I love
any number of colors.
Yeah.
I'm going to do one in worsted weight that uses up because as soon as I finish, this is a good motivator for me, even though it sounds probably one of my crazy scheme sort of things. I have to finish the one thing so that I can then make
Steal
the
the
next
yarn.
thing. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I have to finish my worsted weight northerly because there's going to be a lot of bibs and bobs from that are like substantial, but I don't want to make another bibs and bob sweater. I've made like 5 over the last year. So I'm hoping that worsted weight Hecla will use those up. This pattern can be done in any weight yarn.
Nice.
Oh, wow.
So I've got 2 more in this fingering weight going, and one of them will be a 2 color because it kept ringing in my head that you guys are like, oh, it doesn't look really pink until it's next to the pink, the ballerina color.
Yeah.
So I have enough to do the 2 pinks together.
Mm-hmm.
And then I have, what's it called? Dark mousse.
Yeah.
The brownish color. And then the mustard color. And then I found a mohair that kind of has both those colors in it and a few other colors. So I think that'll be, and they're real short color bursts. So I'm interested to see how that plays in the color work. It might be a disaster or it might be great.
Cool.
I really like that one. And then I'm going to pretend that this class didn't go because of timing, because you never know at the beginning of a schedule.
Yeah.
And I'm going to try offering the 12 crocheted hats next year. So I'm rescheduling this. If Nature Walk Beanie looked good to anybody, look for it next year. And this is a fun hat too.
I like because it's done sideways.
Yeah.
Cute.
And it's half double crochets and slip stitches and through the back loops.
I didn't realize that was
fun.
Crochet.
Yeah, it's a cool pattern.
It is a really cool texture.
Yeah,
It
nice.
it makes it look like it's got cabling, but it's.
I'm lightly annoyed
Uh-oh.
because I needed a new ball to finish 2 rows.
Oh, yeah, that's a bummer.
But I'm going to put this in that worsted weight Hecla, so it's okay.
Because now it's Dash.
Well, this color is one of my absolute favorites. It's just a beautiful royal blue. So I think I'll make that'll be the color that becomes the band, what is this? The ribbing.
Huh?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Karen's problems are not allergies, but my problems are totally allergies. My sinuses are real clogged right now, and I cannot think because there's no oxygen.
Your brain is clogged.
Yeah.
I also know what that feels like.
Yeah, that's what I was figuring.
So
I was figuring maybe you're suffering peak week too, which
it really could be.
is fun to say.
Peak
It sounds
week?
like you're like
Week.
doing something exciting. Just trying to breathe over here. So those 4 hats are what I finished.
Nice.
I am sad that my sweater's not on that list, but next month.
Yeah. Or not.
No, it needs to be because it's a class.
Oh, that one. Yes. Yes.
My husband's always said of all the things I could suck at doing, breathing is probably not.
Yeah,
It's probably the worst
gosh,
one.
I wish that was further down the list.
Yeah, that's a little important.
A little bit. So those are all the things
Nice.
we made.
Good job, everybody.
What do you?
I was just surprised I had FOs.
Yeah, it's a good feeling, huh?
Now, the purple, even though I didn't do most of it, I did have my hands on it. So I'm going to
Yeah.
count part of it.
Well, you're kind of the grandma of it too.
Yeah.
You know,
Oh,
right?
Aw.
Like you made it by
It is my
making the
pattern.
pattern.
Yeah.
there you go. What's
And we were-
everybody
Yeah.
excited about this month?
No, Karin, what are you excited about?
My mind is blank. Well, birthdays. By the time this is done, I will have already done the birthdays. 2 out of my 3 kids have the same birthday, just 6 years apart. So
Nice.
I'm looking forward to that because I always make a special meal and they get to pick the dessert, and they like it when I make it from scratch and not just pick something up. So they said one year they wanted grilled cheese and homemade tomato red pepper soup. This year it's shepherd's pie, but with a crust. You know, I know. I tried to say they go, why do they call it a pie if it doesn't have a crust? I go, why? They go, why don't they call it shepherd's casserole? I go, so I will put a separate section for myself that's crust free, but we're doing it with lamb.
Kevin just made a lamb shepherd's pie, and I wasn't sure because lamb can be like amazing or it can be gamey. It was delightful. And the second best part was he made so much filling that he made 2. So the next night dinner was taken care of 2.
There you go.
Well, and that's kind of what I'm doing this way because I'm not doing a homemade crust. I just buy pie shells, and I know they don't hold very much. So I do, and they come in a 2-pack. So there you go, 2 pies.
There you go.
I'm gonna mix it with bison.
Ooh.
I made a chili a week ago. I guess I'm obsessed with cooking. A week ago I made a chili, but I ground the meat myself, and part of it was a pot roast, and part of it was like a pork loin, and had a little extra fat. And the family was like, "Wow, this is really good." I'm like, I guess when you grind it yourself, it makes a difference.
Yeah.
But most of the time, I'm never.
You were
gonna
probably
do that.
using high quality meat, which is not always what you're
I
getting
got
when
it at
it's
Sprouts.
ground.
I got it at Sprouts, and
Yeah.
they have pretty good meat. It's not. I'm probably not going to grind my own with stuff I got from like Main Street Meats, which has great meat, or Laird's. I'll save that for something else. But anyway,
Nice.
I guess I'm just obsessed with making the cooking.
Shepherd's pie is so good.
Yeah.
You're gonna do right by that.
My very first recipe and my favorite is actually a Linda McCartney vegetarian recipe.
Oh.
But since I have since the celiac, I can't have the meatless stuff.
Yep.
But it fooled my meat and potatoes parents. It's just good comfort food.
Mm-hmm.
Meat and gravy and potatoes.
Yep.
Who
I
else?
am trying to think of what I have been excited about this month. James and I have been watching. I don't remember if I talked about it or if I mentioned it. The Legend of Vox Machina.
Yes.
Yeah. So we finished the second season this week, which I'm sad about because it was so good. And we have stumbled upon it 2 seasons in, and the second season was just released this year, so there won't be one for, I don't know, a year or so, which is sad. But
My obsession with the
it's so
bear
good.
makes me feel your pain.
yeah.
Well, I'm gonna have to check it out because I didn't know what it was about, but
Yeah, if you are at all interested in the Dungeons and Dragons sort of realm, it's just a good show on its own. You don't have to know anything about the game to watch the show, but it's on Amazon Prime, and it is great. It's a group of voice actors who do a show, like a podcast YouTube show, that's really, really popular. And then they took their characters and they voiced them in the cartoon. So it's very fun. So if you've watched the show, it's like you get to see all the little characters in real life. It's a very fun. It's a really good show. It is violent and because it's, you know, murdering dragons and stuff, but it's really good. Yeah. Anne?
I'm looking at my Instagram because that's a real good place to trace your obsessions, right? And I've got like a whole lot of creators to share with you that you all might already be into. Landon Ashworth directs. He has conversations with his 4 and 3-year-old that he acts, you know, and his 4-year-old always wears this cowboy hat and talks like, Daddy, sir, like he's this like Southern cowboy gentleman, and then Dad is just Dad.
Yeah.
And he's like so annoying, like a 4-year-old, but just a little bit more precocious.
Yes.
And then he does things like he asks Daddy this million questions after he's climbed into bed, and he's like, then he has this big wind up about all the superheroes he loves, and it ends with, I do not think they're better than you, Daddy. And then it flips to Daddy, and he's like trying not to cry.
I don't think I've seen him.
And it just hits me in the feels because it's like,
cute.
Oh, your children love you, and they're just trying to be in this world, but they are such little a-holes sometimes.
Yeah.
Even though they're just being themselves, being them. So
they can't help it.
He nails that presentation with a lot of like love and humor. Next, Dr. DJ's Heart. Have you seen this guy?
No, I haven't. I'd like to.
He is this dreamy college professor, and I just came across him. He seemed like a real sweet guy. They've got a young family.
DJ.
Okay. Yeah. And he sold me on himself because he just does these style videos. And he's like, I've been asked what my style is, and I really think it's like the core of it is Dwayne Wayne from A Different World.
Yes, totally.
And I have always crushed on Dwayne Wayne, and this guy's very crushable, and he's so devoted to his family and his job and all that stuff, awesome. So it makes him even hotter. He's just so sweet.
I have been interested in watching. I'm always excited when I see
his fashion is fantastic.
Yeah. When I see a male like fashion influencer, because I'm like, there's a guy I follow. I think his username is Kyle from Insta, but he's like a plus size male, like a fashion blogger or whatever.
It sounds familiar.
You've probably come across him.
Like comfy.
Yes.
But I like him.
Yeah, I like him. But I like when I see like different kind of style videos like that. That's cool.
Yeah. There's more.
Okay. Hit me with them.
Well, what I was really looking for is I came across this like very cool account with all this like very carefully crafted Japanese like traditional kitchen items, but I can't find that. I know I'm following it, so
Are
I'll
they
share
the ones that make
time.
like clay teapots and they're like
I think so,
making them by hand? Yeah.
And like yesterday's video that came across my feed, I don't know how recent it is because it's all jumbled up. Stop the algorithm. Was them making tea whisks, so that made me think of you, Karin. Okay, this is like my heart. Gabriel the Queen.
Okay, I feel like I've seen him before.
He's gorgeous with insane makeup.
That
and
blue beard.
He always colors his beard different colors. And then he's usually sharing something that's like some very like, I know how the world is and I'm going to tell you how the world is. The gospel according to me. And so he's like, he'll say something kind of explicit and be like, nobody cares, but check out my eyelashes. And he's so beautiful and so snotty. It's wonderful.
That's very fun to watch.
I love him. Gabriel does not have their pronouns up there. I think that was it as I scroll through here, but
nice.
Gabriel the Queen
that is fun.
All the sass you need in the day. And more. Just double checking here because there's been some good stuff. I really tried to back off my Instagram use the last few months.
It's so hard.
But every now and then I come across something that says liked by AnnLand22.
Yeah. Well, this month it's
she's just so much more onto it than I am.
Last thing I want to share. It's an Upworthy post, but it's from Katharina Wallen.
Okay.
She came across this little bumblebee that only had one wing.
Aww.
At first she started by bringing it one flower.
Yeah.
And then she got it some sugar water. And that's when, like, the more she spent time with it, she saw that it only had the one wing. And now it's like their pet bumblebee.
Oh,
how
And
sweet.
I'm just waiting for the video to get to the point where it is so fat and happy with pollen all over it. They bring it fresh flowers every day, and they put it in like a little
This is the
terrarium.
life. He's like,
Look at this! Look at this!
oh, he's so cute. He's just going
Aw.
crazy. He's like
pollen everywhere.
happy guy.
And then they built her a little cave because she's a bumblebee.
Yeah.
So she's not a hive dweller.
Oh, that's so cute. This reminds me of like adopting an insect. There's a praying mantis that lives in the cherry tree in my parents' backyard. And James goes out and checks on him every day. Finnegan named him Manty.
Aww.
So every day it's like, we gotta go check on Manty, see if he's still there. And he's been there for like 2 months.
Wow.
And he lives in that tree and he's getting bigger. And James is always excited to tell me about Manty. And Manty is green today, or Manty is brown today, or Manty caught a fly today, or Manty did this. And Manty's getting so big. And I'm like, I'm very happy for you and
I want to
Manty.
hear about the birds that Manty eats at some point.
Yes. Yeah, Manty is very small. But James is always excited to tell me what Manty is doing and checking on him. And then we had like the hurricane and was like, well, I hope Manty held on. He was still there.
Whew.
So he held on tight with his little hands.
Good job.
Didn't get
Manty.
blown away.
I saw somebody's post that said that praying mantises, they had like a Greek vase of a centaur and then a praying mantis side view, that they're the closest thing on earth we have to centaurs.
Okay.
Because they have the forelegs on the ground and then they have
the
their two legs up.
I am totally creeped out by praying mantises, but
Yeah.
Manty is kind. Oh, I have. a
I
picture of
love
him.
praying mantises.
Manty's kind of cute. So yeah,
I love it. They like music and they sway. And
Yep.
They do?
enjoy. Yeah, they do.
They stick
Yeah.
their little hands out and they
Yeah.
Oh,
look at
that's
you.
so cute.
You
We
can
have
get
a
them to dance.
We have
Yeah.
a tree frog. And
That's
he's really
less
cute.
adorable.
And he keeps getting into my vermicomposter.
Oh,
And he's
he
eating
wants
my
your
worms.
wormies. Yeah.
He
He's like, look, I
between the worm-
found the buffet.
I know and I'm like, I could see that he kind of burrowed his way down. And so I packed the
here's
dirt
Manty.
more up.
Oh, Manty's beautiful.
Yeah, he's a cute
Oh, what
little
a
guy.
great picture.
Yeah. So he lives in our backyard. Sorry, I interrupted you.
No worries. And so I'm like, I blocked his way to the worms. And now he's taken to living in my, I have a box that I store the extra dirt and the fertilizer and all that stuff in. And I think there's spiders that are getting in there. So he and I have come to an agreement. You can bunch on all the spiders you want. So I'm not reaching into my box of
Yeah.
gardening stuff.
Maybe he eats black widows.
There.
Oh, yeah, hero.
There's like the real big wolf kind.
Oh, they're harmless.
We get those.
They are nice, and I like
I don't
their-
want to hang out with them.
No.
I just don't want to keep walking into their webs.
So
Right
you have
on.
a ton of those really fat orb
Yeah.
weavers.
Oh, they're
Those
orbs.
are
They're not wolf. They're
beautiful.
orbs.
Those
I mean,
orb weave. Yeah, they're
Yeah, but I don't
huge.
want to hang out with them.
No.
So I support you. And
I
you're
don't. I
like,
like. I don't. I like. There's one outside the back door of the house where we're staying that has built this web, and I'm like, you can live there if you stay there.
Yeah.
Like, don't scare me.
Right.
So every day I'm like, walk by. I'm like, you still there? Okay, cool. She's still there, but
it's just the frog has gotten so used to me that when I reach in, he doesn't even move out of the way. I'm like my hand is inches from this frog, but because I haven't chased him off, he's like, okay,
got his spot.
We're cool.
I don't love tree frogs because they're very noisy, and with a pool, they get attracted in the springtime. So the kids like to frogapult them into the neighbor's yard. But I learned something funny about spiders. The opposite story, that some, like, it was a picture of a tarantula and like one of those teeny tiny micro frogs. That there are some spiders that keep those little frogs around because they eat the insects that could eat the spider's eggs.
Oh.
So frogs are spider cats.
Spider cats.
They're
Like,
the
they're the
cats. They're the
of the
cats
spi-
of the
of the
spider,
spider world.
But your frog is not a spider cat.
No.
Which that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, so also Instagram reminded me that I love Dolly Parton.
oh well,
Thanks,
yeah,
Instagram.
obviously.
She's got a new record coming out. I don't know how good it's gonna be.
We love Dolly. I don't listen to Dolly. I like Dolly's old stuff.
Yeah, I love Dolly's old
There's
stuff.
some real gems in there,
Yes.
but I'm not listening to any new releases from Dolly. They're not
But
on
she
the top
has
of
like
my
there's
list.
some Vinyl Me or something. There's some like
It's a new release
record,
of classic stuff.
Yeah, like record program where artists are remastering stuff and or re-releasing it. So she does announce one of her classic albums out on vinyl every week.
Okay.
And then they play a track from it.
That's awesome.
Yeah. But Dolly was born the same week as my mom and Cher.
Oh,
they're all January 1946.
Fascinating.
Yeah. So then I'm like, meh. There's one more thing I want to share now that I'm thinking about Cher. Google News is trolling me because they keep telling me about how great Cher, like her secret is she stopped eating cheese 30 years ago. And that's the secret to why she looks so good. I've seen this news story like several times and I do not click on it. That is not the only thing she has done.
That's the only thing.
She
hasn't had any work done at all. She just doesn't eat cheese.
Extremely disingenuous.
I mean, get all the surgeries you want. Like, I don't care, but like, don't lie to me.
Don't tell me.
And told me it's just because you don't eat cheese.
Yeah, your secret is the blue zone diet. That's the other way I've seen it tried to be sold to me. I'm like,
I know a lot of people who are lactose intolerant and they don't look like Cher. But lactose intolerant people love cheese more than any other people.
So much. Like, there's several lactose intolerant people in my life, and they love the cheese.
I've cut dairy out of pretty much everything. Even I don't have regular ice cream, but cheese.
Oh yeah,
I will have cheese.
Cheese is life, is what Marabella says.
And my eldest has said, you can enjoy that. Just take your lactate first.
Yeah, that's fine. You
for
just gotta
everybody
prepare.
Else. Yeah. So every Friday I take the kids out for coffee, and the girl, because when I was just taking him, I'd look at him and be like, you should get oat milk. Mm-hmm. And he'd be like, I don't like oat milk. Yeah, but the people around you want you to get oat milk. So that was a whole bit we'd do.
But the oat milk is not just an oat milk now. Now you can get flavored oat milk. It's just, okay, I've come around to it because I'm currently drinking, because I had indigestion earlier and none of the antacids were working. So right now I am chugging the pistachio cream oat milk. Cream, it's a coffee creamer. There's not much of it, but it's coating my stomach and making me feel better.
Well, the girls at Lovewell Tea and Coffee look him in the eye and say, is whole milk okay? And they let him make that moral decision every time. And he's like, yeah, whole milk's fine.
And you're like, no.
Whatever, I don't have to spend the day with him. Like, I know it's not like the right thing to do, kiddo.
My nephew Owen, the 6-year-old, he has to drink oat milk or like coconut milk or some alternative milk. He calls it oat milk. So he has to have his oat milk if he goes to spend the night at grandma's house. It's like, do you have oat milk?
So
for his cereal.
He's so freaking cute.
Although he has decided that coconut milk is his favorite now, so.
I want to tell you guys a gross story really quick.
Okay.
Every time people talk about cereal milk now,
I
was reading this list of like disturbing things that happened to people when they went on sleepovers when they were kids. And the one that, like, there were several like highs and lows on that list, but the one that really stuck in my brain is this guy said he went to his friend's house, and it was a great sleepover. In the morning, mom poured bowls of cereal for everybody, including herself, and the milk tasted extra sweet.
Mm-hmm.
And
oh no! Oh wait!
When mom and his friend got done with their cereal,
oh god,
poured the milk back in the container.
Oh. That's so gross.
Oh my gosh. That was their cereal milk carton. So disgusting.
Wow. That's so gross. Oh. I didn't need to know that.
I think you're richer for it.
Okay, thank you. I mean, it's not like that's something that I'm going to accidentally experience, so I think it'll be okay.
So I have a question. Just because, you know, growing up and having to fend for myself, cereal was the one thing as a 5-year-old I could make for myself. Right. You know, unsupervised, it's a little different story. So when you're having cereal as a kid, did you have a very specific method in how the whole process of the bowl?
Well, I mean, cereal first, milk over it, eat.
How much milk?
Like, to kind of cover it. Like, I actually really like soggy cornflakes, so I would cover my cornflakes and let them sit for
I want to have like a little bit of my mountain of cereal uncovered so I can control when the cereal goes in. Yeah.
You might be someone who needs that.
Any added table sugar?
Yes.
It depends on the cereal.
Yeah,
my mom didn't buy sugar cereals.
No, let's say you had Lucky Charms.
I'm not
Did you
adding
in-
sugar to that.
Okay.
My mom didn't buy any kind of sweet cereal, so
Yeah.
we had Cheerios. We did have Frosted Flakes, but we were not allowed to put sugar on anything but Cheerios.
So my kids did not experience what I experienced because it was not right. But here's my method.
Good job, Mom.
You put enough of your Lucky Charms or Tricks, not Fruity Pebbles because those are nasty.
I
love
also
Fruity
don't,
Pebbles.
so,
They just had a weird flavor for me.
easy
Anyway,
to pass to you. Then.
Yeah, I'll take them.
but you put them in your bowl dry enough to cover the bottom, and then you take 2 heaping tablespoons of sugar and pour that on top, and then you pour enough liquid just to make them float, and then you take the back of your spoon and you dunk them.
That's reasonable. Yeah.
But 2 heaping tablespoons of sugar does not dissolve in milk.
No.
It makes sugar sludge.
I was
Yes,
gonna say, then you
which
get
is
that little
yummy, too.
slurry at the bottom.
Yeah.
And then
It's
it's
not
like an
just-
extra snack.
We grew up in
There's a reason why the teacher said she's got so much energy. I was a hyper child.
like the idea of a snack house and an ingredient house.
Yeah, we had an ingredient house.
We're an ingredient house growing up and in our life too. It makes me sad.
I live
every
in
time
more
want
of a snack house now, but it was definitely an ingredient house.
Totally
growing up.
ingredient
We
house.
were an ingredient house until my mother-in-law came, and then
Now
for
you're
someone
snack house.
who doesn't like to eat much, she's all about the snacks. And
Yeah.
the kids had snacks because she's like every week, I'm like, no.
We're an occasional snack house. Like it's a treat if I'm gonna add a snack to the grocery list. But 100% ingredient house. And my mom wasn't like food restrictive, but she was watching every grain. And that was more, finances than anything. So John, like my brother John would always make sugar sandwiches. That was like his favorite snack.
Sugar
What is
sandwiches,
that? Just
butter with
bread?
cinnamon
I don't
and
even think it was
sugar.
butter. My mom didn't know.
Not even the margarine.
No, I think he just got it like wet. Like David,
Wet bread and sugar on top. That's
Yup.
disgusting.
It didn't look appealing to me.
James told me the story about
Not
when
even
he was
toasted?
little making butter sandwiches.
I'm not sure toasted actually.
Toasted to hold the moisture a little better.
but I don't think
Ugh.
so.
You're saying about James?
Oh, James used to make bacon and butter sandwiches, or just butter sandwiches.
No.
Which is like, maybe there was sugar on it. I don't remember, but it was
Well,
just butter between 2 slices of
Yeah,
bread.
Bella will, as a treat she enjoys, make toast, butter, and then cinnamon sugar.
Oh, that's a great
yeah,
snack.
that's yummy. It's almost fairy toast.
Buttered
Yeah.
saltines. I could eat a
if
whole
it were
pack of
the
saltines.
eating butter.
Yes.
Like
good
if you're
butter.
having Kerrygold, or I keep seeing that French butter
Oh,
Yeah.
that's
Kerrygold.
all like laminated with salt in it.
Mhm.
Have you had that?
No.
What?
Okay.
Oh, okay.
There's,
I
I don't know
'Cause
even know where you buy
'cause
it.
Butter and cheese are the 2 dairy things that.
They like make this cold pressed butter that's laminated with sea salt
Like
in
sea
it.
salt, yeah.
I believe it's a
Where you
French
get
butter.
where you can actually get the little
The little
crystals.
yeah.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah, butter is very important at my house. And I remember talking to somebody, or somebody's, I can't remember how the story goes, but it was like, they said like, we don't really keep butter in the house. It's like, we don't have butter in the house. I'm like, what? How do you, how do you not have butter in your house? And there's like the cooking butter and there's the eating butter.
Yeah.
And you don't have just like butter out all of the time.
Right. Well, I learned that concept of eating butter from you.
Yep.
And I every once in a while indulge in some nicer butter, but we always have butter. But when I was a kid, we were a margarine house.
Yeah, we had, I can't believe it's not when I was a kid.
Country crock,
Yeah.
which I loved until one day I didn't. Like one morning I got in there and I layered every little square of my waffle and I took a bite and it was the most disgusting thing I've ever had. I think there's some like a food additive that bothers me because the same thing with Coffee Mate. It's like Coffee Mate with a little drop of coffee. Sounded delightful to me. And then one day,
It was not.
Yeah. Butter, Dolly Parton, Instagram.
Nice.
There you go.
All right. And cheese.
Cheese is life.
All right.
Reminds
Well,
me I gotta bring my the Gouda home that I left here.
well, thank you guys for joining us for another month, and we'll see you guys next time. Check out our book club if you want to read along with us. What are we reading this month, Karin? It was your choice.
And I already
I know it's
finished it. What
Shirley
was it?
Jackson.
Shirley Jackson is
the
the Sundial.
Sundial.
It's a very quick.
All I could
quick
think of was
read.
the chainmail. I was like, that's not it.
No, it's a very short. It's almost a short. It's almost a short story. It's like 4 hours on Audible, like really short.
I have been reading a lot this month, but I have not gotten to that one yet, so I'm looking forward
I am
to
on
it.
book 4.
Oh,
Yeah.
all right. We'll see you guys next month. Bye.
Bye.
Strings Unraveled is a production of Strings and Things Studio with Anne Leckervin Cazzoli, Kaity Von Rader-Fraker, and Karin Wilmoth. Recorded and edited by Kaity Von Rader-Fraker. Find us online at stringsandthingsstudio.com or on Facebook or Instagram at Strings and Things Studio. You can email us at stringsandthingsinfo@gmail.com.